Big time fight coming up this weekend in the strawweight division. We have the Spider Monkey, Ashley Yoder. She's going to be taking on Fortis MMA's own Jinh Yu Frey. Matt, for Jinh Yu Frey, plenty of Fortis MMA fighters on this card, including Cheyenne Bays, as well as one half of your main event, Uriah Hall. And listen, Saif Saud is going to be busy on the weekend for Jinh Yu Frey. Picked up her first UFC win in her last fight. She had a big one over Gloria De Paula, who's also on this card, taking on her teammate, Cheyenne Bays. Now, Matt, if you look at it for the 5-on-in for both these women, it is not the sexiest of record for Jinh Yu Frey. She lost to Ayaka Hamasaki, but that's an all-time legend. She beat Smashley, Ashley Cummins. So if we're talking in terms of wins over Ashley's, who's got the more recent one? I mean, unless Ashley beat herself, maybe she's trying to beat some records. It's going to be Jinh Yu Frey. And if you look at it, the two losses in the UFC, Kay Hansen, Loma Lookmanme, and really the story in those ones, Jinh Yu Frey didn't look terrible against Kay Hansen until she got finished. But in her fight against Loma Lookmanme, she just looked kind of like Keith Richards-ish. And when I make those references, it's the old start me up reference. It's like, and then it just keeps going like that, and nothing gets started up. For Jinh Yu Frey, she just wasn't able to get going. For Ashley Yoder, you look at it, 2 wins, Siri Kondo, Miranda Granger, the losses, Miranda Marcos by split, Lavinia Souza, as well as one Angela Hill in her last time out. And that wasn't all that long ago, about 4 months and a week ago, when she loses to Overkill Hill. So a couple of fighters that don't have the greatest records coming into this one, even overall. For Ashley Yoder, 8-7. For Frey, 10-6. She's the former Invicta atomweight champion, not even strawweight, atomweight champion. Matt, Jinh Yu Frey coming into this fight, Fortis MMA. You're taking on Team Quest, Dan Henderson's Performance Fitness Center, or whatever they call it these days. What are you thinking on this one?
This should be an interesting fight. I was excited for when Jinh Yu Frey came over to the UFC. I followed her in Invicta to a certain degree. It's not like I was married to her run or anything, but I was somewhat interested in her career. That's more than I can say for a lot of Invicta champs. So she must have been doing something right. And when she made the transition, you could just kind of tell, from the first weigh-in, like, hey, this isn't her division. The UFC does not have the division that she belongs in. She can be an okay fighter at strawweight, but she can never be a great fighter at strawweight. She could be a great fighter at atomweight. And the weird thing about atomweight, too, is it does feel like there's a massive difference between atomweight and strawweight compared to, strawweight and flyweight. There's a big difference between even strawweight and flyweight, but, the atomweight fighters, you can tell. It's just barely any of them are over, 5'3". There's a massive size and reach disadvantage that a lot of them have to overcome. And the issue with a lot of these fights is strawweight is they come down to volume. Well, if I'm the shorter fighter who has trouble reaching my target, I'm never going to really win that fight when it does come down to volume. And this is what I have to say about Ashley Yoder. It feels like every time she wins a fight and then she's announcing oh, I'm going to go on a run. It never happens though. After the Miranda Granger fight.
Maybe it happens this weekend.
But it's it was like some kids started taking off for a race and they were doing really great. And then all of a sudden the ref was like, no, I didn't blow the whistle. It's like you're kind of counting your eggs before they've hatched. She wins against Miranda Granger and she's like, okay, listen, my training wasn't great, but I figured it out, guys. I'm going to go on a run. And then Angela Hill destroys you. It's not even a competitive fight. And listen, Angela Hill's a good fighter, but you need to at least have a competitive fight with Angela Hill if one day you want to be considered a top 15 strawweight. And you haven't even been able to show that ability through a UFC run. Ashley Yoder's been in the UFC for a while now, I guess is my point. And she's never really been able to do enough to differentiate herself from just an unranked strawweight. Listen, I don't hate her volume. I think she might even have underrated power in this division. Look at her knockdown of Mackenzie Dern in their fight, a fight that Craig will never forget and never stop bringing up that Ashley Yoder should have won. But it's just Ashley Yoder's never really gotten better at the things that we thought she was going to get better at. She still has the range, but that was just kind of a physical attribute she has. She still has decent volume, but I wouldn't even say it's great because when you look at her against other great volume fighters in this division, she gets out volume. So I'm going to say this. I think Ashley Yoder's going to win this fight only because she's bigger. And I know that's not a great technical analysis, but that's really what this fight's going to come down to.
Ashley Yoder, one of those tricky strikers when she's on her back foot too. She's a really weird southpaw to try and figure out. You talk about the size. She's got 4 inches in terms of height. She's got about 4.5 inches in terms of the reach. Great stuff out of old Smashley. She's not Ashley Cummins, but Matt, when we have a look at the odds for this one, Ashley Yoder opened a -140 favorite. She's somewhere around a -137. The odds haven't changed all that much. For Jinh Yu Frey, opened a +120. She's now a +112. And if you have a look over on Topology, 952 total votes. The fans are split 52% for Jinh Yu Frey, and then for Ashley Yoder, 48%. Pretty well all of them by decision. If I was going to put anything on this one, it's for the fight to go to decision. These are decision machines. Did Mina Gruetzemacher beat Jinh Yu Frey once? Maybe. Did she put on little stink bomb performances beforehand? Yeah, maybe she did. I don't know. It's been said. I don't know. Ask Drake Griggs. But Matt, when I have a look at this fight, I'm in agreement with you. For Ashley Yoder, is the takedown defense the greatest?
No,
not against the upper echelon. So if Jinh Yu Frey has a snowball's chance in hell, she really has to put on a lot of pressure. She did great against a striker in her last fight in Gloria DePaula, who's also on this card. So that's a little bit of the point. She's also going to be training with Cheyenne Bays. I think that's a good person to train with for this fight. As silly as all this might sound, it's true. It really is true. But for Ashley Yoder, again, she's been there and done that against some of the better fighters in this division. And again, say what you want to get about the Mackenzie Dern fight. I still think that she won. Matt, both of us going with the Spider Monkey. In this one, are we absolutely nuts? The fight is close in terms of the odds. So you let us know, because last weekend we got bit by Hannah Goldie and Diana Belbizia. So what do we know? But I do like this one in terms of, you know, kind of what's next for both of these women in the division. We're really going to learn that this weekend as well. Is what's going to happen in the top of the middleweight division. We have Uriah Hall. He's going to be taking on one tough out in Sean Strickland. So you're not going to want to miss that. You're going to want to keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. And as we always say, let's get into it.